Reading from the book Teachings of Lord Chaitanya by His Divine Grace Vishwaguru Abhay Charanaраvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Chapter 16 entitled Conclusion of Teachings to Sanatana Goswami. There are those who simply desire liberation, those who are liberated already, even while in this material existence, and those who are actually self realized. There are many persons in this world who desire liberation, and sometimes they engage in devotional service for this purpose. It is corroborated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, verse 26, that those who actually desire liberation abandon worship of the demigods and, without envy, concentrate their minds in the worship of Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When such persons come in contact with a pure devotee, they engage in the devotional service of Krishna and abandon the idea of liberation. In the Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya, it is stated, Aho Mahatman Bahudosha Dushto Abhyekena Bhati Esha Bhavo Gunena Satsangam Akyena Sukhabhahena Krutadya no Yena Krisha Mumuksha. O great soul, although there are many flaws within this miserable life, there is yet one glory, the association of pure devotees. Cultivate such association. By it, our desire for liberation diminishes. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th Canto, Chapter 2, verse 37, it is stated that man's fear is due to his material conception of life and to his forgetting his eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. Consequently, he finds himself having only perverted memories. This occurs due to the spell of material energy. One who has sufficient intelligence will engage himself in full devotional service and regard the Supreme Lord as his spiritual master and worshipable Lord. The conclusion is that no one can attain a revolution in consciousness without engaging in devotional service to the Lord. When one is actually free from material contamination, he can fully engage himself in Krishna consciousness. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 14, verse 4, it is again clearly said that one who engages in spiritual life to understand things as they are but who lacks all intentions of engaging in Krishna consciousness simply achieves trouble for their undertaking. There is no substance to his life. Every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and therefore it is the duty of every living entity to serve that Supreme Whole. Without such service, the living entity falls into material contamination. Lord Chaitanya concluded his teachings to Sanatana Goswami by pointing out that the six kinds of Atma Ramas engage in some kind of devotional service to Krishna. In other words, at some time or another, all the transcendentalists ultimately come to understand the necessity of rendering devotional service to Krishna and becoming fully Krishna conscious. Even if one is very learned or extravagant, he can still engage in the devotional service of the Lord. The transcendentalists can be categorized into six basic types: the neophyte transcendentalist, the absorbed transcendentalist, one who is actually situated in transcendence, one who actually desires liberation, one who is actually liberated, and one who is actually engaged in activities in his constitutional position. All of these are called Atma Rama. When a person becomes Atma Rama or a great thinker in Krishna consciousness, he fully engages in devotional service. According to the grammatical rules, there are many Atma Ramas, but one sense of the word is sufficient to represent the others. In the collective sense, all the Atma Ramas are inclined to worship the Supreme Lord Krishna. The mystic who worships the supersoul within himself is also called Atma Rama. The Atma Rama yogis are of two kinds, Sagarbha and Nigarbha. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 2, Verse 8. Some yogis meditate within their heart on the localized Vishnu, who is four-handed and who holds four symbols conch, disc, mace, and lotus. The yogi who thinks of the four-handed Vishnu becomes absorbed in devotional ecstasy and evinces the symptoms of that state. Sometimes he cries and sometimes he feels separation. In this way, he merges in transcendental bliss. The result of all this is that he becomes entrapped like a fish. The Sagarbha and Nigarbha yogis can be further divided into three categories: the beginner, the ascendant, and he who has already attained perfection. These yogis are described in the sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Those who are trying to ascend on the path of mystic yoga are called Arurukshu. In Arurukshu yoga, various sitting postures are practiced and the mind is concentrated. But when one has already ascended to the path of yoga, meditation and detachment are the goals. And when one is no longer attached to working for sense gratification, he gradually becomes free. At that time, he also attains a state of ecstasy called Yoga Arudha. If these mystic yogis somehow or other come in contact with a saintly person, they become devotees of Krishna. The word Urukrama indicates the Supreme Lord. All the Atma Ramas are engaged in devotional service to Urukrama. Before engaging in devotional service, such transcendentalists are called Shantas or pacified devotees. The word Atma or self is sometimes translated as mind. Sometimes mental speculators present philosophical theories in different ways, but when they come in contact with saintly persons engaged in devotional service, they also become devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 87, Verse 18, describes the two classes of yogis, Sagarbha and Nigarbha, as follows. The yogis begin their practice of yoga by worshipping the abdomen, and when they try to concentrate their attention on their intestines, gradually their meditation rises to the heart and concentrates on the mind and the heart. Then their attention rises to the top of the head, and one who can rise to that position is understood to have become perfect and to be no longer subjected to birth and death. Even if such yogis come in contact with pure devotees, they also render causeless devotional service to the Lord. The word Atma also means to endeavor. In every practice, there is some endeavor, and the ultimate endeavor is the endeavor to reach the highest perfectional stage of devotional service. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Verse 18, it is stated that one should try to attain the highest goal, which cannot be attained either in the higher or lower planetary systems. The idea is that material happiness and misery are available in all planetary systems in the course of time, but the highest achievement, devotional service, cannot be attained anywhere without endeavor. Therefore, in the Naradiya Purana, it is said that one who is serious about understanding the highest perfectional stage of devotional service can become successful in everything simply by his endeavor. One cannot attain the highest perfectional stage of devotional service without personal endeavor. As Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 10. The word Atma also means patience and perseverance. By patience and perseverance, one can achieve the highest stage of devotional service. As far as the word Muni is concerned, there are additional meanings. The word also means, the word also refers to a bird and a large black bee. Another meaning of the word Nirgrantha is a foolish person. Thus, even birds, bees, and foolish people engage in the service of the Supreme Lord when they are favored by the pure devotee. Indeed, it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 21, verse 14, that the birds are devoted to the service of the Supreme Lord. It is also stated there, Canto 10, Chapter 15, verse 6, that black bees always follow Krishna and Balaram. Concerning this, Sri Krishna even described the devotional service which the bees and wasps were rendering unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Krishna said, Ete alinaha tava yashokhila lokatirtham gayanta adi purushanupadam bhajante प्रायो अमी मुनिगणा भवदीयमुख्या गूढ़ं वनेऽपि न जयति अनघात्मदैवम्. O supremely virtuous one, O personality of Godhead, Balarama, just see how these bees and wasps are following you, glorifying your transcendental fame and worshipping you. Actually, these wasps and bees are not as they appear. They are great sages who are taking this opportunity to worship the Supreme Soul. Although you are not known by ordinary persons, they know you and they are following and glorifying you. There is a similar verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 15, verse 7, which describes the reception given to Balaram and Krishna by the peacocks of Vrindavan. O worshipable one, just see how the peacocks are returning to their nests. Just see how the peacocks that are returning to their nests are receiving you with full pleasure. These peacocks are just like the damsels of Braja. The cuckoos on the branches of the trees are also receiving you in their own way. The residents of Vrindavan are so glorious that everyone is prepared to render devotional service to the Lord. It is stated in another verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 35, verse 11. Oh, just see how the cranes and swans on the water are singing the glories of the Lord. Indeed, they are standing in the water, meditating and worshipping Him. It is stated elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 4, verse 18. Even the aborigines and uncivilized human beings like Kiratas, Punas, Andhra, Pulinda, Pulkasha, Abhira, Shumbha, Yavana, and Khasa, as well as many other human beings in the lower species, can all be purified simply by taking shelter of the pure devotees. Therefore, Shukadev Goswami offered his respectful obeisances unto Lord Vishnu, whose devotees can act so wonderfully. Another meaning of the word dhriti is to realize oneself as elevated. When one realizes his own elevation, he feels that he is free from all miseries and is elevated to the highest platform of life. All devotees of Krishna in full Krishna consciousness are free from all kinds of material pleasures and miseries. They are fully absorbed in the service of the Lord, and they are always jolly by virtue of their engagement in His transcendental service. They are experienced men of happiness. Indeed, Indeed, they are so happy that they do not even wish to be promoted to the spiritual planets, for they are happy in every sphere of life. They are also happy that they do not even need to be promoted to the spiritual planets, for they are happy in every sphere of life. Because their lives are fixed in the service of that, even birds, beasts, and fools, in short, everyone can become attracted by the transcendental qualities of Krishna, engage in his service, and become liberated. Still, another meaning of Atma is intelligence. One who has special intelligence is also called Atma Rama. The Atma Ramas with special intelligence are of two kinds. One is the learned sage, and the other is the fool without book knowledge. Both of these can have an opportunity to associate with the pure devotee. Even the foolish Atma Ramas can give up everything and engage themselves in Krishna consciousness in pure devotional service. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that the Lord is the origin of everything and that everything emanates from Him. Anyone who is actually intelligent can understand that the Supreme Lord Krishna is the source of everything and thus engage in His service. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7, verse 46. What to speak of persons who are intelligent enough to study the Vedas? Even less intelligent persons, like women, laborers, the Huna, Shabara, and the birds and beasts, can achieve the highest perfectional stage of life. As previously quoted, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 10, also indicates that when a person becomes highly intelligent and engages in Krishna consciousness, Krishna reciprocates by giving him the intelligence by which he can be promoted to the abode of the Supreme Lord. The Lord then told Sanatana Goswami that the association of good devotees, engagement in the transcendental service of the Lord, the understanding of Srimad Bhagavatam, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, and residence in a holy place like Vrindavan or Mathura are all very important for elevation to the transcendental plane. One need not attain all five of these items. If one is expert in just one of them, he will, without fail, be elevated to the stage of love of Godhead. One who is actually intelligent gives up all material desires and engages in the transcendental service of Krishna. The influence of devotional service is such that when a person engages in it, he gives up all material desires and becomes fully attached to Krishna, being inspired by the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Such is the beauty of the Lord in the eyes of his devotee. Another meaning of the word Atma is nature. In this case, the word Atma Rama indicates that everyone is enjoying the particular nature he has acquired. However, the ultimate nature or the perpetual eternal nature of the living entity is to serve the Supreme Lord. One who attains to the perfection of understanding his real nature as eternal servant of the Lord gives up his designative, material, or bodily conception of life. That is real knowledge. Those who are in pursuit of knowledge and who get the opportunity to associate with a pure devotee also engage in the devotional service of the Lord. Sages like the four Kumaras, as well as fools and birds, can engage in the Lord's transcendental service. By being favored with Krishna's causeless mercy, anyone and everyone can be elevated to the platform of Krishna consciousness. When one becomes attracted by the transcendental qualities of Krishna, he begins devotional service. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 15, verse 8, glorifies the land of Vrindavan in this way. Dhanyeyam adya dharani trinavirudhastat tvat पादस्पृशो द्रुमलता करजाभिमृष्टाः नद्यो अद्रयः खगमृगा सदयावलोकैः गोप्यो अन्तरेण भुजगै गोप्योऽन्तरेण भुजयोरपि यत्स्पृहा श्रीः. This land of Vrajabhumi is glorified by the touch of your feet. Being touched by your fingers, the creepers also glorify you. When you look on the hills, rivers, and lower animals, they are all glorified. And the gopis, being embraced by your transcendental arms, are also glorified. The gopis or cowherd girls glorified Vrindavan in the following words. Dear friends, all these inhabitants of Vrajabhumi, including birds, beasts, and trees, are glorified when they see Lord Krishna going to the pasturing ground with his friends and Balaram. The word Atma also means the body. The yogis who practice bodily exercises, considering the body to be the self, are also elevated to the transcendental service of the Lord if they associate with pure devotees. There are many people who believe the body to be the self, and they are engaged in many fruitive activities, including bathing rituals and ordinary worldly activities. However, when they come in contact with a pure devotee, they also engage in the transcendental service of the Lord. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18, verse 12, it is stated, O my dear Suta Goswami, even though we have become darkened by the sacrificial smoke of fruitive activities, you have given us the nectar of Krishna's lotus feet. It is also stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 21, verse 31. The waters of the Ganges flow from the tip of the lotus feet of Krishna, and by bathing in that water, everyone, including fruitive actors and all sages, can wash dirty things from the mind. Even those who believe that the body is the self, or those who are full of material desires, are also, in a sense, Atma Rama. When they associate with the pure devotees of the Lord, they give up their material desires and become perfect in the service of the Lord. The best example of this is found in the Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya, chapter 7, verse 28, wherein Dhruva Maharaj said, स्थानाभिलाषी तपसि स्थितोऽहम् त्वां प्राप्तवान् देवमुनीन्द्रगुह्यम् काचं विचिन्वन्नपि दिव्यरत्नम् स्वामिन् कृतार्थोऽस्मि वरं न याचे. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 22, verse 42. My dear Lord, I came to worship you because I desired some land on this earth. But fortunately, I have attained you, who are beyond even the perception of great sages and saintly persons. I came to search out some I came to search out some particles of colored glass, but instead I found a very valuable gem like you. I am satisfied, and I do not desire to ask anything of you. There is also another meaning to the word nirgrantha. The word can also mean a foolish hunter or wretched poor man. There is one instance of a hunter who attained salvation and engaged himself in the devotional service of the Lord simply by associating with the pure devotee Narada. Indeed, Lord Chaitanya told Sanatana Goswami the following story of the hunter's meeting with Narada. Once there was a hunter in the forest of Prayag who was fortunate enough to meet Narad Muni when the great sage was returning from Vaikuntha after visiting Lord Narayana. Narada came to Prayag to bathe in the confluence of the Ganges and Yamuna. While passing through the forest, Narada saw a bird lying on the ground. The bird was half killed, being pierced by an arrow, and it was chirping pitifully. Further on, Narada saw a deer flopping about in agony. Further, he saw that a boar was also suffering, and in another place he saw a rabbit twitching in pain. All this made him very compassionate, and he began to think, who is the foolish man who has committed such sins? Devotees of the Lord are generally compassionate upon the miseries of living entities, and what to speak of the great sage Narada? He became very much aggrieved by the scene, and after proceeding a few steps, he saw the hunter engaged in hunting with bow and arrows. The hunter's complexion was very dark, and his eyes were red. It appeared to be dangerous just to see him standing there with his bow and arrows, looking just like an associate of Yamaraja, Death. Seeing him, Narad Muni entered deeper into the forest to approach him. As Narad Muni passed through the forest, all the animals who were caught in the hunter's traps fled away. The hunter became very angry at this, and he was just about to call Narada vile names. But, due to the influence of saintly Narada, the hunter could not utter such blasphemies. Rather, with gentle behavior, he asked Narada, my dear sir, why have you come here while I am hunting? Have you strayed from the general path? Because you have come here, all the animals in my traps have fled. Yes, I am sorry, Narada replied. I have come to you to find my own path and to inquire from you. I have seen that there are many boars, deer, and rabbits on the path. They are lying on the forest floor, half dead and flopping about. Who has committed these sinful acts? What you have seen is all right, the hunter replied. It was done by me. If you are hunting all these poor animals, why don't you kill them at once? Narada asked. You half kill them and they are suffering in their death pangs. This is a great sin. If you want to kill an animal, why don't you kill it completely? Why do you leave it half killed and allow it to die flopping around? My dear Lord, the hunter replied, my name is Mrigari, enemy of animals. I am simply following the teachings of my father, who taught me to half kill animals and leave them flopping about. When a half dead animal suffers, I take great pleasure in it. I beg one thing from you only, Narada implored. Please accept it. Oh, yes, sir. I shall give you whatever you like, the hunter said. If you want some animal skins, come to my house. I have many skins of animals, including tigers and deer. I shall give you whatever you like. I do not want such things, Narada replied. However, I do want something else. If you kindly grant it to me, I shall tell you. Please, henceforth, from tomorrow, whenever you kill an animal, please kill it completely. Don't leave it half dead. My dear sir, what are you asking of me? What is the difference between half killing an animal and killing it completely? If you half kill the animals, they suffer great pain, Narada explained. And if you give too much pain to other living entities, you commit great sin. There is a great offense committed when you kill an animal completely, but the offense is much greater when you half kill it. Indeed, the pain which you give half dead animals will have to be accepted by you in a future birth. Although the hunter was very sinful, his heart became softened and he became afraid of his sins by virtue of his association with a great devotee like Narada. Those who are grossly sinful are not at all afraid of committing sins. But here we can see that because his purification began in the association of a great devotee like Narada, the hunter became afraid of his sinful activities. The hunter therefore replied, my dear sir, From my very childhood, I have been taught to kill animals in this way. Please tell me how I can get rid of all the offenses and sinful activities which I have accumulated. I am surrendering unto your lotus feet. Please save me from all the reactions of my sinful activities which I have committed in the past, and please direct me to the proper path so that I can be free. If you actually want to follow my directions, I can tell you the real path by which you can be freed from the sinful reactions. I shall follow whatever you say without hesitation. The hunter agreed. Narada then told him to first break his bow. Only then would he disclose the path of liberation. You are asking me to break my bow, the hunter protested. But if I break it, what will be the means of my livelihood? Don't you understand? Narada broke his bow and finally got him to stand up, and he instructed him. Just go to your home and distribute whatever money and valuables you have to the devotees and the Brahmanas. Then just come out and follow me wearing only one cloth. Construct a small thatched house on the river bank and sow a tulasi plant by that house. Just circumambulate the tulasi tree and every day taste one fallen leaf. Above all, always chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. As far as your livelihood is concerned, I shall send you grains, but you will only accept as much grains as you require for yourself and your wife. Narada then relieved the half dead animals, and getting freed from their dreadful condition, they fled away. Upon seeing Narada execute this miracle, the dark hunter was struck with wonder. After taking Narada to his home, he bowed down again at his feet. Narada returned to his place, and the hunter, after his returning home, began to execute the instructions Narada had given him. Devotees came to see the new Vaishnava. It is the Vedic custom to bring grains and fruits whenever one goes to see a saintly person. And since all the villagers saw that the hunter had turned into a great devotee, they brought eatables with them. Thus, every day he was offered grains and fruits, so much so that no less than 10 to 20 people could have eaten there. According to Narada's instructions, he did not accept anything more than what he and his wife required for sustenance. After some days had passed, Narada told his friend Parvata Muni, I have a disciple, let us go to see him and see if he is doing well. When the two sages Narada and Parvata went to the hunter's home, the hunter saw his spiritual master coming from the distance, and he began to approach him with great respect. On his way to greet the great sages, the hunter saw that there were ants on the ground before him, and that they were hindering his passage. When he reached the sages, he tried to bow down before them, but he saw that there were so many ants that he could not bow down without crushing them. Thus he slowly cleared away the ants with his cloth. When Narada saw that the hunter was trying to save the lives of the ants in this way, he was reminded of a verse from the Skanda Purana. Is it not wonderful that a devotee of the Lord is not inclined to give any sort of pain to anyone, not even to an ant? Although the hunter formerly took great pleasure in half killing animals, since he became a great devotee of the Lord, he was not prepared to give pain even to an ant. The hunter received the two great sages at his home and offered them a sitting place brought water, washed their feet, took water to took water to them to drink, and finally both he and his wife touched the water with their heads. After this, they began to feel ecstasy and began to dance and sing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We will continue to read in the next session. Thank you very much for joining. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Vishwa
Yes.
Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hare, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.